Success may not come easily to some. For the most part, the secret to success is a sense of urgency to accomplish it. To succeed, an individual must be driven to their boundaries and sometimes beyond. Feel the hunger in this section. Here after the research Think Positive give us 6 valuable tips for you. Hope you like this. Tip 1. What you need to know to be successful. For high accomplishment requirements, there are numerous strategies to build this sense of urgency. The habit of thinking and planning in depth is perhaps the first and most basic necessity for achieving accomplishment efficiently and swiftly. The individual would eventually be able to launch into this habit if he or she took the time to practice it regularly. A person who has mastered this skill can make assessments and supply or create solutions at a faster and more accurate rate. In order to become more consistent, you'll need to acquire the necessary skills. Then, after defining the general tasks, it would be prudent to guarantee that they are completed quickly and efficiently. Thus, the individual could focus and achieve high-quality performance and productivity. As a result of this habitual behavior, over time, the natural impulses to be more awake and aware would also grow as a result of becoming more in tune with what is being done and the many workings inside job outlines. Any potential pitfalls can be avoided by using these instincts. It is possible to design answers to anticipated difficulties at the first hint of trouble. Based on the ideas and insights obtained from past experiences, they can and do elicit these kind of positive emotions, which may be fine-tuned over time and experience to be more effective in achieving the intended goals. Usually, this stems from a desire to do a task fast and successfully. 2. Know who you're talking to. If one wants to be successful, he or she must be able to connect with their target audience. No progress will be gained if the material or plan being given does not pique the interest of the intended audience. A higher success rate can be achieved by conducting research to determine the best types of people to target, since the information delivered will be interesting to them. Probably the most significant factor when it comes to reaching the intended audience base is the type of media. A person's attention-getting efforts will be greatly enhanced if they can detect and capitalize on this factor. Urgency should be encouraged once the target audience has been defined, so that the project can be started as swiftly as feasible. In particular, if the motivation levels are strong, this will be a rather straightforward process. An audience that can be reached thanks to background knowledge obtained during project development can be narrowed down. Another strategy to ensure success is to have a thorough understanding of the knowledge needed to create a sense of urgency in the participants. Inquiries and ideas will be debated, and the sense of urgency will be appropriately heightened. If this activity is skillfully managed, the presenter, on the other hand, should be well prepared to answer any and all queries. Positively encouraging the target audience to commit by pointing out that the opportunity they are being offered with is both spectacular and possibly restricted in scope will also work. 3. Your goals. The needs of a family unit can be met via a variety of goal-setting exercises. There is a need to establish the goals of the family as a whole and as individuals within the family. Once this has been accomplished, it will be possible to design the necessary element that will achieve the desired results. Trust, communication, togetherness, and many other beneficial characteristics can be enhanced by setting family goals, and it can help children learn about setting personal goals inside their own small worlds. As a starting point for selecting and setting goals, consider the following. Families should work together to develop goals. Active rather than passive participation is encouraged, and age should not be a barrier. Kinder can be quite perceptive and come up with really practical solutions to a problem. It's also a good idea to limit the number of goals that your family has to work with. The aim and its final good results will be less likely to be successful when there is too much activity. There should be no time limit on when to identify and develop goals for a family member. Whenever possible, these activities should be performed in a natural manner to ensure that no threatening feelings are generated. It is also beneficial to include an incentive plan as part of the goal-setting process to encourage maximum participation and outcomes from all members of your family. For some purposes, a deadline may be necessary. This is to prevent procrastination. 4. A role model to look up to. diverse methods of achieving achievement should be explored. Success can be attained by emulating someone or something. Successfully achieving your goals gets easier since you already have a plan in place that you can easily follow and is very likely to be achieved. Having to push oneself without direction is not an issue. When there is a visual example to follow, having a mentor who can motivate and advise you is also incredibly beneficial. Especially when the task at hand is difficult or even impossible. It's always easier to copy someone else's work than to create something unique. It is also helpful to have a role model who can help the individual comprehend exactly what it takes to see an activity through to its successful conclusion. In addition to providing a visible example, the role model can help the individual consider all of their options before committing to an activity or undertaking in the first place. Having a role model can also assist an individual set a pace and create a standard to follow. On the road to success, these examples can be followed and improved on. The ability to see a goal as attainable is a powerful tool. Therefore, finding and following a good role model is a prudent move. Success attitude can be developed by doing seemingly unimportant things, such as dressing as your role model. Minor setbacks or failures can be overcome by drawing on the expertise and style of the role model. 5. Recognize your value and demonstrate it. If an individual's value is determined by work ethics, personal style, economic success, or even more personal factors, such as a person's family and social life, there are a number of ways to convey this. When those around you despise attention seekers, finding discreet methods to display these principles is a crucial skill. As an example, one could submit their credentials on a calling card. Using these business cards is a terrific approach to introduce yourself without being overbearing. In reality, it is a simple statement of the individual's accomplishments. Such a certification will demonstrate the individual's professional capacity and trustworthiness, allowing for proper recognition to be established. Also, the individual gains expertise about a certain subject. If there are opportunities for an individual to shine, they should seize them as early as possible. A person's ability to contribute in an area where he or she feels competent is a fantastic method to demonstrate why they were selected. Helping others in a familiar environment also helps to establish one's seeming abilities. Keep your mind open to opportunities to give knowledge, experience or value to any project that comes your way. This will encourage individuals around the individual to have a more favorable opinion of him or her. Learning and fine-tuning skills can begin when an individual is always willing to attempt new things and learn from their experiences. It is upon this foundation of confidence that risk-taking and irrational decisions can be made. These often strenuous workouts can also yield a person who is obviously seen as valuable. 6. Why not pursuing your dream is a bad idea? In order to avoid failure, most people want to live inside secure and predictable boundaries. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, is a popular phrase in the United States of America. However, the most significant outcome of this mode of thinking is the regret that is almost always felt at the end of the process. In the absence of an action plan, people are more prone to settle for a mediocre existence. It is only when this habit is clearly and concretely formed that the fight aspect, which is essential to completing milestones, will be developed or even disappear entirely. As a result of allowing this trait to show, the individual will not profit, and may even live a life of mediocrity, never striving for greater heights. There will be no aim to reach if there is no desire to chase a dream. Most people prefer the thought of being constantly challenged to do better things because it gives them a sense of purpose. Bitterness is another negative trait that can emerge when a person lacks a dream to keep them going. As a result of bitterness, a person can become a shell of his or her former self, both mentally and physically.